Thanks so much for coming today. Really excited to have Mark Civil, the Head of Creative Learning at Ali Pali, with us this afternoon. I'm going to hand over to him in a minute to talk about the Palace's 150th anniversary and the resources and why this project was important to him. But before that, I just wanted to give a bit of an introduction about MASH Partners, which is a new scheme for 2Simple. So we've been working to create resources for primary school pupils for 25 years. And now we're looking to work with creative organisations to inspire people using the fantastic range of resources. So Ali Pali is one of our first MASH partners, and it's really exciting to be able to share the new resources that we've created together. So I'm going to hand over to Mark to talk a little bit about Ali Pali and their 150th anniversary, and then we can go to Purple Mash and give a bit of a demo of the resources.
Thank you as well. We are absolutely delighted to be one of your MASH partners. So just a little bit of context, we reached out to 2Simple sort of about midway through our anniversary, 150th anniversary year. And as part of that, we had a really giddy program of activities to engage the range of stakeholders and community groups that we work with. So my department, Creative Learning, we work with schools, children and family. We have worked with volunteers. We have programs for older people. And we celebrate a range of fantastic assets that we have at Alexandra Palace. So we have a 80-year-old, I would say it's like a Victorian theatre that had been dormant for 80 years that we've recently brought back to life. An interpretation structure, an archive, exhibition space, creativity pavilion if you haven't been up, as a school visit, which is a bespoke learning centre, and 190 to 92 or 96 acres of parkland, and that includes what we call our Wild in the Park programme, which is outdoor learning provision that can encompass things like forest schools, art trails, performances in the park. So it's really broad. As I said, we put together a range of activities throughout the year that was about engaging as many communities in the celebration of Alexandra Palace, and really just trying to take a temperature check of what we thought the palace meant to people. So really looking at it through a local lens. And the hero piece, if you like, was an exhibition that was created called By the People, 150 Lifetimes, where we celebrated all the people that have, over the 150 years, dedicated their time to making the palace work in some capacity. So that ranged from architects through to artists who use the palace as a muse, to the palace as a site of protest. And then we commissioned an artist called Helen Marshall, who creates these fantastic photo murals. And so if you come to the East Court, you'll see a giant portrait of the palace, which is literally it literally personifies the People's Palace, which is a nickname that we've like gained over the years, and it's over 2,000 images that were sent in by visitors and the general public and local people, with a sort of tweet or an X-like short caption or story of what Palace means to them, and lots of sort of well-wishing in terms of just helping us celebrate it and mark our 150th year. And hopefully through that process, and we'd hoped at the beginning that we would get some images of people across a large period of time. So people that had used the palace in the 1930s, 40s and the 70s, like at different points, and that the whole process would help us to bolster and enlarge our archive, which it undoubtedly has. And then, so as part of that, we started to have kind of conversation about how we could engage schools in this process, and that's when conversations start to take place between 2Simple and Palace, which is to think about a learning resource that could get young people looking at and exploring their local history, whilst creating and learning skills about how to mount an exhibition. And that's where the conversation began, and now we're at this point where we're talking to you and launching the resource, which we're really excited about.
So thank you very much. So if I share my screen and I log on to Purple Mash. So now you should be able to, now you'll be able to see the Alexandra Palace homepage, and then you can see all of the resources. So the first thing to say is that the link is not a public link. So if you put Alexandra Palace into the search bar here, you won't find it, because obviously Purple Mash has a national reach. So we will have to use this link, which we will send out afterwards. And obviously any schools wanting to do the resources can get in touch with Alexandra Palace, and they can send you the link so that you'll be able to access the resources. The other thing to say is that the resources are free to access for any schools wanting to create the resource, and that's why it's it's such a fantastic set of resources. So obviously this is mainly or has been mainly targeted for Key Stage 2 when they do a local history project, but we really wanted to get pupils to look at the incredible history of the palace and kind of piece together the jigsaw puzzle of all the different types of things that have happened there, and then come together to create things based on all the different topics, and then be able to put all those things together and then come up with an exhibition that they can then mount in their classrooms. So what you have is a teacher's guide, which gives you information about the resources and how to use them. And then you have a 6 week 6 weeks of lessons. So if you go into each section, you have a PowerPoint which is downloadable and then can be saved on your computer, and then some activities and some questions and answers. So all of the teaching resources can be printed out, and then they can be used to create a display in your classroom. So obviously if there's any questions that you have, you can get in touch with Alexandra Palace as you're doing them. So if I show you the second one, again, you've got a PowerPoint, you've got some activities, and then you've got your questions and answers. And the questions and answers are really to show you what the key bits of learning from the different time periods, and then they can all be put together to make 150 years of history. I think the thing to say is that lessons 5 and 6 are very much about encouraging pupils to make all sorts of different things about the activities, about what they've learned, and about what Alexandra Palace means to them and to their families. And then all of these activities can then be pulled together to make an exhibition. I think the last thing to say is that you will also find an email address here, learning@alexandrapalace.com, and that is an opportunity for schools who create their own exhibition to get in touch, share any photos of what they've been working on, and also to arrange a tour of the palace. So again, any questions should go to this email address or to 2Simple, and we can get in touch with Alexandra Palace.